The Constitution will not be saved in Washington.
Are you ready?
Travis Wayne Goodsell, as I've been telling you, if you believe that a supreme being created the heavens, then you need to understand that interpreting the signs in the heavens are from this supreme being and not from Lucifer. If you instead believe that Lucifer creates the heavens, then okay, I guess Lucifer creates the signs in the heavens. The ancients, as I've also been telling you, used the heavens not just to navigate the oceans, but they also used it to keep time. And they were very, very, very skilled, as I've demonstrated for you with some examples of signs in the heavens that have been occurring in our day, of which they knew about and were communicating to us that they were going to occur in our day. That's how expert they were in the science of astronomy, not pseudoscience of astrology. Too many people do not understand the difference. When I speak of the conjunctions, or the signs in the heavens, that's what I'm referring to, are conjunctions in the heavens. And a conjunction is known to astronomers, as the Farmer's Almanac will give a listing of all the rare conjunctions for the year in their various yearly publications. And so the ancients knew all this too. And so the Bible, when it talks about there will be signs in the heavens in the latter days, they're not just giving us a time period of when these things are to occur, they're also telling us of the events on earth of which they are a symbol of, which means you have to understand how they interpreted the constellations as animals and anthropomorphic beings, humans. And so Pisces, for example, is considered two fish. Aries is a ram. Taurus, a bull. Cetus is a sea monster. And so you have to understand what they anciently understood about these ancient constellations and the representatives of these constellations, to understand that the stories they would tell about them connect with signs in the heavens of a specific date, whether they are talking in their day, something that happened in the past, or something that is to occur in the future, as the Bible tells us of events that are to occur in the future. And so thus the mythical narratives of creatures in their telling of prophecies, as we call it, of the latter days. They're not actual dragons or beasts of that nature on earth. They're referring to signs in the heavens and telling the story about conjunctions that occur in them, and what they are amazingly able to accurately predict events on earth, symbolic of the conjunctions and the meanings thereof. And so that's a summation. You have to go back over all my videos where I talk about it. I have a Latter-day Signs in Heaven something playlist, something like that. Look for Signs in the Heavens. I have a Star Watch. That's for conjunctions, not supposed to be for prophecies, but I may end up putting prophecies in there if I talk about conjunctions. And then I have an astronomy one, which is only supposed to be about astronomy, but if I talk about astronomy while I'm talking about conjunctions and prophecies, then yeah. But the Star Watch and astronomy are later editions. You want to look for Signs in the Heavens playlists. I had them on the other channel as well. But so yesterday, the event on earth was that Judge Jenkins recused himself. And yeah, it's the 28th. I'm looking on the screen for the 29th tomorrow. But today also, anyway, I'll get to that. So yesterday, Judge Jenkins recused himself. Said, I wash my hands of this matter. I can't be the judge. So, just like Governor Herbert washed his hands of handling the coronavirus with his appointed task force with Lieutenant Governor Cox, they washed their hands of Utah. And they're now, the news I found out yesterday, they're now wondering if Governor Herbert's going to lock us up again, which concerns me because he had no plans to provide us with food and supplies previously. What makes us believe that he's going to do it this time? And this time it's worse, which means it's going to take a lot longer being locked up. So that concerns me. But, nonetheless, washed his hands. Jenkins yesterday washes his hands of judging the church. Guess where the moon was? Remember, the moon represents religion. The left eye that I've been going over with you. Left eye of Horus. It was in Aquarius, which I've gone over with you, is the priest. Priest, washing, made clean, righteousness. And specifically, the moon was in the waterfall, the pouring out of the water. So Judge Jenkins washed his hands of judging the church. I've identified Saturn as the judges. Judge First, Judge Oberg, Judge Waddups, and now I've confirmed with Judge Jenkins. And I had always been wondering, as the moon was rising to join Jupiter and Saturn, as they are in conjunction for the past number of months, that I wondered, well, what's going on? Because I would think that favorable things would happen with that sign, but it was turning out to be negative. And so here we are now, tomorrow. as we have a new judge, Judge Kimball, who I've already sent the brief saying, hey, you need to recuse yourself, don't you? I've already posted those for you. And did his history, which is an hour long, but trust me, there are bombshells in the Kimball family history that I find out about. That was a live coverage of me researching the Kimball family. There are bombshells, not just at the beginning, where I find out that Heber C. Kimball was a practicing polygamist before joining Joseph's organization. And then when Joseph was in hiding from the law, so he wasn't in Nauvoo or, controlling the church and making sure things are okay, governing, leading, guiding. We thank you, O God, for a prophet to lead us and guide us in these latter days. No, he was in hiding. So he wasn't doing any temple marriages. And yet Heber C. Kimball gets sealed to a third polygamous wife in 1842. And so, yeah, thank you, Orrin Porter Rockwell, for that distraction for Heber, as he was the one who tried to assassinate Governor Boggs, but Joseph was the one accused and was supposed to be locked up for it, and did eventually lock up after a couple of months. But yeah, Joseph was not involved with those polygamous marriages. They were done in secret. Heber, we now know, because of my research, that I find out right at the beginning of the video, the hour-long video, Heber C. Kimball was already a practicing polygamist. And so, yeah. He brought in Brigham, by the way. After Brigham's wife died from sickness, Heber brought Brigham into the organization. And Heber is the one who demonstrates that he knows on the potter's wheel. I go over that in the video. And I've gone over the Wikipedia page for Heber on Masonry. And so that's part of the other bombshell that I go over at the end. When I go over the page on the Hebrews Journal that I posted for you in the description. And so tomorrow, today the moon is at the tail of Cephas, the water beast. And if you recall your scriptures, and I know you all know this one, Revelation chapter 12. Stars fall from the tail of the dragon. I have witnessed more than one occasion of this being fulfilled. I thought it was fulfilled in 2017 because it happened. But no. It was just my being taught as I just barely started trying to figure out all the signs in the heavens now, because my education introducing me to this understanding of the ancients, I just thought was just a fun little activity. I didn't realize how in-depth it was in their culture. And so when James E. Faust dies, and then Spencer W. Kimball dies, I'm going, oh wow, this has got some teeth to it. Back in the 2002 Winter Olympics here in Utah, remember that? All Mormons know that. They probably still have memorabilia from it. There were a sign in the heavens after it completed in May. All 5 visible planets visible in the evening sky. And so, wow, look at that. All 5 visible planets visible in the evening sky, as we just had the world gather to Utah. Huh. And Von J. Featherstone was saying that that was a fulfillment of the Isaiah prophecy to have the Olympics. And I swear I heard Kimball, but I can't find Hinckley's comments on that. He must have given it in the Christmas devotional or Thanksgiving thing or something like that, other than conference, because the lighting ceremony on Thanksgiving. Because I can't find him saying that anywhere. But after the conference center was built, he did talk about that being a partial fulfillment. And so, yes, Tail of the Dragon. There are, right before Nelson's birthday last month, yeah, September, clear into October, stars have been falling around Nelson, who is Mars. I've already identified him. I first identified him as likely to be Mars, though I still needed confirmation, back in February 2017, when he was a part of the genealogy conference they hold every year. But this year it was canceled, I think. Maybe they did it in January. I can't remember the title anymore. It's when I did my book signing in the flood zone of Elko, Nevada, whereas Nelson and his wife did their infamous speech for the version here in Salt Lake. And I've seen LDS critics do videos criticizing his speech at that event. But Family Discovery Day, that's it. And so when Monson died, during a fulfillment of Revelation 12 signs, and there was several of them that occurred around Monson. Even this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. That also occurred that month in 2018. I was like, holy crap! And so, in other words, Monson's death was an attempt to get our attention, as recorded in the skies. You know, the heavens and the conjunctions and the signs and the meanings of the signs, they are the Word of God. Literally. That's where our scriptures come from. And so, yeah, somebody up there is trying to get our attention very blatantly. And I caught it, but nobody else caught it. And so, yes, the moon today is at the tail of Cephas. And tomorrow it will also be at the tail of Cephas, but it'll be in conjunction now with Mars in Pisces. And so, as bad things happened to me when the moon was approaching Jupiter, in conjunction with Jupiter, I'm hoping, I'm wishing for the one I love to find me. So, yeah, I don't have a very good female voice from Disney. But I did learn how to whistle, like those birds. And so, I'm hoping something will go in my favor for once with this lawsuit. But it may just be that Judge Kimball posts his recusal, and that could be all it is. But what's of interest is that the falling stars, the northern and southern Taurids, have separated themselves from Nelson, from Mars, and are now in the sacrificial constellation of Aries. If you remember Abraham sacrificing Isaac, a messenger appears, and then a ram saves Isaac. Yeah, well, that was a sign in the heavens, giving a future date, unless it was written after that event, which means it was talking about the date in the past, which is the more likely scenario, of 4 CE. On, guess what date, Mormons? April 8. What, not 6? Huh? April 8th, 4 AD CE. Now, if you remember your Book of Mormon, Mormons, Lehi left Jerusalem in the first year of the reign of King Zedekiah, which was what year? And when was a certain person supposed to come? In what year from the time that Lehi left Jerusalem? Now, 600 years from the time Lehi left Jerusalem, there was to be a sign in the heavens. And sure enough, there was a sign in the heavens on April 8, 4 CE. 600 years when Babylon put a puppet King Zedekiah on the throne of Judah, which was also another date given to us in the Book of Mormon. And so, yeah, we were warned of this day, not just in the Bible, but in the Book of Mormon. They all knew. And the significance, if you're confused, well, what does 4 AD April 8th have to do with today? It's 2,000 years ago. Specifically, in the year 2024, on April 8, it will be 2020 years since that event in the heavens. And there's going to be another event, the exact same event, in the heavens on April 8, 2024. 2020 years. 2020. And this year. Oh, it's 2020 this year. Oh, we just had a Jewish New Year when Ruth Bader Ginsburg died on the evening of the New Year for the Jews, which was now 3,333 years from when the Jews consider the Exodus to have occurred. The Exodus, in the book of Exodus, when Moses was confronting Pharaoh, let my people go. Pharaoh said no. So there was stars falling from heaven. There were 3 days of darkness. We've had 2 of them. And then a coronavirus. And then Pharaoh says, you may go. You have destroyed the dynasty. And then the Exodus. A virus causes the Exodus. What's going on in 2020? A virus. The second of 3 days of darkness, and stars falling from the heavens. And so, yes, I see it. It's very clear. It's very blatant. If you don't study your scriptures, you're going to mess it. And so tomorrow, the moon will be with Mars, as the southern and northern Taurids are in the sacrificial Aries constellation. Now, who are falling stars, you may ask? What's carved on the keystone of the ark of the door of the Salt Lake Temple, Mormons? All of us who have been sealed in that temple, we get our pictures taken afterward at that door. And so if you're a photographer, make sure to get the whole door in, like our photographer did. We were sealed in room number 13, by the way. But that's, I kind of wonder about that in the big context. But I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And so, yes, Mormons, you're the falling stars. The whole church. It's the Church of Lucifer, the falling star. And Venus right now is in the head of Virgo, where the sun is about ready to leave and head to the top of Libra for our election. So, as Mercury will not quite make it to that same location. He retrogrades back into Venus, or Virgo, and then goes back to Libra around the 22nd of November. So, yeah, I've been warning you. We've got things happening. And it's been an education for me as I've had to do all the pioneering research into this subject, because nobody else knows it. Nobody on earth. And I was taught about this, and the teacher had no clue. He just knew of the stories that they would tell. There are those who know that they had a connection and told their stories based on the movements of the celestial bodies and the conjunctions and such, but nobody has actually done a full comparison showing how the Bible stories are from the Word of God, who created the heavens and the earth, and the signs therein. Did you read that in Genesis? I did. So, yeah, pay attention. We're in for a bumpy ride, as the church is trying desperately to silence me, have me murdered, to keep this secret.